And welcome back to Jesus Christ Prison Ministry Bible Study by the Pond. This is chapter 43. Now the famine was still severe in the land, but when they had eaten all the grain they had brought from Egypt, their father said to them, "Go back and buy us a little more food." But Judah said to him, "The man warned us solemnly, 'You will not see my face again unless your brother is with you.' If you will send our brother along with us, we will go down and buy food for you. But if you will not send him, we will not go down, because the man said to us, 'You will not see my face again unless your brother is with you.'" Here you have men in their 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, possibly early 50s, being absolutely obedient to their father. They have learned the hard way that disobedience only brings trouble. We need to learn the same principle in our lives. Israel asked, "Why did you bring this trouble on me by telling the man you had another brother?" They replied, "The man questioned us closely about ourselves and our family. 'Is your father still living?' he asked us. 'Do you have another brother?' We simply answered his questions. How were we to know? He would say, 'Bring your brother down here.'" Then Judah said to Israel his father. Now notice the difference between Reuben, the firstborn, the hothead, who had gone up on his father's couch, who had defiled his father's marriage, and Judah. "Send the boy along with me, and we will go at once, so that we and you and our children may live and not die." See, he's thinking about saving life, not hurting. "I myself will guarantee his safety. You can hold me personally responsible for him if I do not bring him back to you and set him here before you. I will bear the blame before you all my life. As it is, if we had not delayed, we could have gone and returned twice." Then their father Israel said to them, "If it must be, then do this. Put some of the best products of the land in your bags and take them down to the man as a gift. A little balm and a little honey, some spices and myrrh, some pistachio nuts and almonds." Jacob was going to do everything in his power to appease the ruler. Do we do everything in our power to appease those that seem to be hurting us, that seem to be harming us, that seem to be taking advantage of us? Or do we get our egos up and our pride up, and it just becomes a shouting match and a pointing finger match and blaming match? Let us do all the good we can. Take double the amount of silver with you, for you must return the silver that was put back into the mouths of your sacks. Perhaps it was a mistake. Take your brother also and go back to the man at once. And may God Almighty grant you mercy before the man, so that he will let your other brother and Benjamin come back with you. As for me, if I am bereaved, I am bereaved." Jacob had to think of the good of the whole community. He was simply doing his duty. Oh, that we would do our duty. So the men took the gifts and doubled the amount of silver, and Benjamin also. They hurried down to Egypt and presented themselves to Joseph. When Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the steward of his house, "Take these men to my house, slaughter an animal, and prepare dinner. They are to eat with me at noon." The man did as Joseph told him, and took the men to Joseph's house. Now the men were frightened when they were taken to his house. They thought, "We were brought here because of the silver that was put back into our sacks the first time. He wants to attack us and overpower us and seize us as slaves and take our donkeys." Well, donkeys were valuable back then. They transported things. It would be like having trucks today that transport. That'd be a nice thing, you know. Someone was laying a trap for you to waylay you, take your truck. So they went up to Joseph's steward and spoke to him at the entrance to the house. "Please, sir," they said. "We came down here the first time to buy food, but at the place where we stopped for the night we opened our sacks, and each of us found his silver, the exact weight, in the mouth of his sack. So we have brought it back with us. We have also brought an additional silver with us to buy food. We don't know who put our silver in our sacks." "It's all right," he said. "Don't be afraid. Your God, the God of your father, has given you treasure in your sacks. I received your silver." Then he brought Simeon out to them. The steward took the men into Joseph's house, gave them water to wash their feet, and provided fodder for their donkeys. They prepared their gifts for Joseph's arrival at noon, because they had heard that they were to eat there. When Joseph came home, they presented to him the gifts they had brought into the house, and they bowed down before him to the ground. He asked them how they were, and then he said, "How is your aged father you told me about? Is he still living?" They replied, "Your servant our father is still alive and well," and they bowed low to pay him honor. As he looked about and saw his brother Benjamin, his own mother's son, he asked, "Is this your youngest brother, the one you told me about?" And he said, "God be gracious to you, my son." Deeply moved at the sight of his brother, Joseph hurried out and looked for a place to weep. He went into his private room and wept there. After he had washed his face and came out, controlling himself, said, "Serve the food." They served him by himself, the brothers by themselves, and the Egyptians who ate with him by themselves, because Egyptians could not eat with Hebrews, for that is detestable to the Egyptians. The men had been seated before him in the order of their ages, from the firstborn to the youngest, and they looked at each other in astonishment. When portions were served to them from Joseph's table, Benjamin's portion was 5 times as much as anyone else's. So they feasted and drank freely with him. Let us give our lives to Jesus by serving those that even may have hurt us. We've all been hurt, but on the other hand, we have hurt others. So let us remember, the more we love, the more we will be loved. The more we serve, the more we will be served. Let us do unto others as we would want them to do unto us. God bless you.